Hi, this is Dina Rich, broker associate at Keller Williams Realty on sunny South Padre Island. Welcome to The Buying Process, a 5-part video series in which we will walk through the steps that will take you from tourist to property owner. In Part 3, we'll discuss some negotiation strategies and formulating an offer. Part 3, making an offer and negotiating. The pace of the current market will determine how much time you should think about your next move. If you know me, you know I'm not a high-pressure salesman. But keep in mind that the property you saw today and will think about overnight may be the property someone else saw yesterday, thought about last night, and is ready to make a decision about today. I'm required to provide you with data on recent comparable sales, called comps. We use this information to help you formulate an offer that is reflective of the current market. We also need to determine what your down payment will be. If you're an all-cash buyer, this would be 100% of the purchase price. But if your purchase requires financing, this is one of the reasons why you should have already had a conversation with a lender, as we discussed in Part 1. We'll also talk about the amount of earnest money and the option or termination period, which is the period of time that you can terminate the contract for any reason and retain your earnest money. Most buyers use this time to have an inspection done. And we'll decide on the closing date. Additionally, we also need to discuss who will pay various other closing costs, such as, will you ask the seller to provide you with a 1-year residential service contract or home warranty? Who will pay for the resale certificate and transfer fees for properties with a homeowners association? Who will pay for the title policy? Is there an existing survey, or will a new one be needed? And if so, who will pay for it? And will you ask the seller to cover any of your lender closing costs? What if we find ourselves in a multiple offer situation? I have a separate video that covers various strategies for multiple offer scenarios in depth, but let's just look at a few points. Some buyers believe they can make a low offer, but the seller will give them the opportunity to come back to the table with their highest and best offer. However, this is not always the case. Sellers are not required to do so. The seller could just accept another buyer's offer, or choose to negotiate or counter one of the other buyers. It's worth noting that the seller cannot make a counteroffer to 2 buyers simultaneously. And that brings us to the end of Part 3 of the buying process. In Part 4, we will discuss what happens when your offer is accepted.